Hello everyone, thank you for joining me on this episode of Vegan Please TV. In this episode I want to talk about something that for me is one of my soapbox issues, not only in regards to the vegan movement, it's something that I'm passionate about in my professional life as well, and that is bullying. There's far too much bullying going on in this vegan community. I know, because I said in the previous episode that there's no vegan movement. There is far too much bullying going on in this vegan community, this vegan clique, or whatever you want to call it. Oh, pardon me. And this is the thing. Veganism is supposed to be about compassion, about caring for all sentient beings and all that sort of stuff. There's a lot of personalities out there that preach love and light, and yet behind closed doors, or when people aren't looking, they're the most vicious people that you've ever met in your life. And this is the thing. And then not only, I'm not just saying them as well. I mean, you have a look at the thing is that bullying needs to stop. It needs to stop. The bullying on YouTube needs to stop. Who was it? Ava's response to the vegan lass, Lauren, that was just beyond words. That was uncalled for. Whether Lauren did the right thing or not, well, hey, that's entirely debatable. But I mean, that being said, if you put yourself out there and you sort of, you put yourself to be a position to be something that you're not, or others think they're not, then hey, you get called out on it. And I thought it was amusing the spelling on the singlets. Anyway, that's if that floats a boat, that floats a boat. Ava's response was totally unacceptable. To call someone, to pick on someone about something like that, and to anyway, just with the way that she did. Anyway, I'll include a link to the Vegan Lass's video in the description below here. And this is the thing that needs to stop. And hey, tell you first up, all these YouTube people that I'm talking about, they're new to me. It's only been the last couple of weeks that, I've delved a bit more into YouTube and finding out the stuff that's going on. And you know what? Holy crap. I thought, the real world was bad. It seems that regardless of what goes on, us vegans just really are a petty bunch. So yes, going back to the light thing, the Light Twins, what they said about Charles, call Charles out. If he's mocking your stutter and picking on you about that, call him on that, say that's unacceptable. To challenge him to a boxing match, an MMA or whatever it was, no, that makes you no better than him, and you can't take the moral ground on that one. Really, what are we? Are we back in the school ground? It's a thing. Why don't you just flop it out on the tables and see who's got the biggest one? I mean, that's the childish nature of it. And the sad thing is, though, that all this stuff becomes public. You think only vegans are watching your channels? They're not. There's going to be, people that like to mock vegans. There's going to be people from the other side of the fence, animal agriculture industry. There's going to be, anti-vegans out there that watch this. They're going to be lapping this stuff up. So yes, and it's the thing is that the bullying isn't only in those YouTube channels. It's that you comment on something on Facebook, which, I've always called it Facebook, because my view is that people don't actually go on the, a majority of the people don't go on there to broaden their horizons. They don't go in there with an open mind. They go on there to reinforce their own opinion, reinforce their own belief, or to criticize someone for theirs. They don't go in, for open discussion. They don't go for open-mindedness. They don't go to have a rational discussion about things. So that's the thing, is that you say something that challenges it. And I've had it a number of times, because I'm not a fan of the Animal Liberation franchise. I'm not a fan of Mark Pearson, the MLC in New South Wales here in Australia. I personally think that they're doing more harm than good, because they're deliberately deceiving people. The first thing people say, oh, well, my God, Mark's done so much for the animals. What have you done for the animals? What do you do? And this is the thing. That's a form of bullying, because what do I have to do that, you know, at what level do I have to reach before my opinion is worth listening to? If it's not worth listening to or not worth taking seriously, then comments like that, just show your own ignorance, and then try and bully me into silence. And this is the other thing, is that the reason for the name of this the channel, the Vegan Police, and for the name of my blog and all that sort of stuff. When I first started, I was vegan because I thought, well, hey, I'm in Australia, I'm vegan. That was a nice little, you know, conjunction of the two words. Then after a while, because I said a lot of things that were different to the status quo, different to the accepted, you know, indoctrinated opinion of ideas within veganism, is that people started calling me vegan Nazi, purist, you know, and all that, even to the point of being called the Vegan Police. And initially, when I first heard it, I did spend a lot of time defending myself, saying, no, I'm not, blah, 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 which from that, it served the person who said it was trying to bully me into silence, and that achieved their goal, because they wanted me to spend more time defending myself and what I was saying rather than them with what they were being challenged about. And I got to the point where, you know, my thing is that I will not give anyone a satisfaction. You know, I won't give bullies a satisfaction knowing they've got one over me. So I changed the name of my blog and my website and branding and all that sort of stuff to become the Vegan Police, because that's the thing, it's to take the power away. Now, have a look at, you know, the Vegan Strategist, you know, discussions on the Facebook group AR Zone. One of his things that he loved to do was brand us, you know, a few people that were challenging his position as the Vegan Police, as vegan purist and dogmatic and all that sort of stuff. As soon as I turned around, it was actually a little bit after I turned around and said to him that, you know, it's no longer an insult. You're bullying us by calling us that to get us to defend ourselves, which takes the attention away from you. That's when he started blocking people and having his little tantrums and things like that, because we don't understand what he's talking about. We don't understand his position and all those sort of BS terms. Well, sadly, Tobias, we do understand your position. You're an apologetic anti-vegan, you know, who, well, whatever. I'll leave that one for another rant. I think that one's for a rant for a couple of days' time. But this is the thing, the bullying needs to stop. It doesn't matter whether you're a new vegan, someone that's been vegan for 12 months, you know, 12 minutes, 12 days, or for me, I think, what are we up to now? Probably about 23 years, something like, yeah, I think it was about 23 years now. You know, I've been around the block a few times. I've done quite a few things in my, you know, my vegan life that I would not recommend to anyone else. And it's the thing, I've also educated myself on other things as well. So just because what I'm saying to you makes you feel uncomfortable, you don't have to challenge that by, you know, by attacking me, instead going for the ad hominem attacks. Because this is the thing, that there's, you know, we claim to be, you know, open-minded and enlightened because we've seen the era of animal consumption. Yet as soon as we come over into that, then everything else, you know, we're not open. Our minds aren't open to anything else. You know, who was it? The Unnatural Vegan, in one of her clips recently, promoted the Friendly and Pragmatic Vegans on Facebook as a good group to get into. Well, it's not, because, oh, sorry, Friendly and Pragmatic Vegan and Vegans and Vegetarians. It's not. All it is another apologetic group where if you're vegan, you can't say that you're vegan. If someone's vegetarian, then they're happy to be branded vegan, and then you can't say, well, hey, hang on, you're consuming, you know, wine that has fish in it or has dairy in it or been used with dairy. You can't say, oh, you know, that's not suitable for vegan. So therefore, are you still a vegan for that? Because then you're becoming dogmatic. You're not becoming pragmatic and all this sort of other warm and fuzzy fluff BS that they put into it. And it's run by a guy who happens to be, you know, really hunky-dory into Animals Australia and a good friend of the anti-vegan that I mentioned before. So, you know, it's, you know, no wonder that they've got similar websites and, you know, similar views and all that sort of stuff now. And this is the other thing too, is that there was a discussion that Vincent had on 3AW. What was it about? Horse racing or something like that? Anyway, he got called out because it appeared, listening to the interview, the radio announcer in Victoria had more idea about what being vegan was and what veganism stood for than what Vincent did, and it was just rather embarrassing for on Vincent's part to listen to. Anyway, if I can dig it up, I'll include that in the description as well. But, this is and hey, am I bullying? No, that's the thing. I'm pointing out that if you're saying something in public, you need to be spot on with it, because if you're not, then that gives the people that want to challenge you or want to ridicule the position of veganism, that gives them the ammunition that they need to change, to cause doubt into everything that you've said. Yes, I've said I'm not a fan of animal liberation. And this is the other thing that, talking about that, is that people crying on social media about not being, because so-and-so's been blocked and they haven't they've had their comments deleted, and they're denying them their right to free speech and all that sort of kerfuffle. There is no free speech on someone else's platform. You're on YouTube's platform, you're on Facebook's platform, you're on Twitter's platform, you're on whoever's platform that you're on. You've got to abide by their rules. The person who controls that, like Facebook, you can delete comments from different groups, admins and all that sort of stuff can. Patreon, you're on Patreon's platform, so that's Patreon's neighborhood in someone else's little area. If they don't like what you say, they're entitled to delete it because you've come into their little sandpit to play in. That's the thing. People can kick you out of the sandpit. People can change the rules on the sandpit anytime that they want. If you want to have free speech, get your own website. Promote it that way. Say whatever you want. This is the thing. veganpolice.com.au. Have I got comments on it? I think I do. I was trialing the Discuss plugin. Wasn't too happy with that. Then I went to Facebook plugins, and anyway, comments on that. I've only ever not approved one comment. It doesn't matter what the person said, has said about me in the past. Everything got put up. The one comment that I didn't include was done by a very what would you say, unethical, immoral person, very unethical person in Queensland who said a lot of comments and things that could have been slanderous, and left me open for a lawsuit because they made comments about someone else. So I chose not to publish that. Every other comment I've had people, what was it? It was the Gateway to Hell article that I wrote about a whole lot of people storming the Great Southern China or Southern China Airlines or something like that. You read the comments on that, and and this is the thing. I was just sharing my opinion. Hey, and this is the other thing too. Yes, I did name these people only because they were named in a public Facebook post to start off with. That post has since been deleted. I've left it up there because that's something that I felt that they've made it public. I'm just following that. There was a YouTube video. That video has since been removed because the person was embarrassed to have it attached to their name. Well, it's their fault, not mine. Because I drew attention to it. Well, why should I be blamed for that? And this is the thing. The bullying needs to stop. I've had it. When people know that they can't come after me personally, they can't attack me professionally, they can't do whatever they want, they go after other people. I've had family and friends attacked by the supposedly all-loving vegan community. I've had friends harassed. There's so many people that are continually spreading lies about myself when, and this is the thing. This is supposedly a loving community where we preach compassion and all that sort of BS. If that's the case, this crap needs to stop. The bullying needs to stop. The harassment needs to stop. Should we expect anything different from Leanne and Harley? Probably not, because that's their, that's their identity that they've created for themselves, is that they just want to bully celebrities. They just want to bully people. They say, oh, I'm calling you out. Well, no, you're not calling them out. You're just bullying them. The other one, another example is, I think it was about 2 years ago, Dave, I can't remember what his name is. Anyway, he's one of the DJs on Talking Heads, does it with Kate Langbrook. Can't remember what his name is. Anyway, comedian. He's a pescatarian. Made a comment about dairy. that he wouldn't give up dairy. Someone in Victoria decided to start this petition to get people to sign to get this guy, Dave Hughes, to get this guy to give up dairy. Now, there was people signing it. They were going to do protests. They were going to call this. They had dairy debates, and they were having this, that, and everything else. You know, that's pointless. All that was all these people getting together to bully someone to change their personal choices. Yes, I don't agree with dairy. I'm vegan. I have been, as I said, for 22 years. I don't agree with it. Should we be taking that position to get someone to change it? No, because you're drawing public attention to something that is that person's choice to do, you know, and you're trying to bully them into changing their mind by getting, you know, 3,000 people to sign a petition. Well, you know, is that the right thing to do? Personally, I don't think it is, because all that does is, you know, it may give the petition signers social media credit because, hey, look, I've signed this petition. The person that's on the receiving end of it, no. Another point, in the lead up to the election, the misnamed Animal Justice Party did a whole, what did they do? A dirty dozen of politicians. One of the politicians that scored it was Mike Baird, the Premier of New South Wales. They've said all these sorts of things. If I can find the image, I'll include that. I'll include all this in the description as well. So they've attacked him for one thing. Now, because he's decided to remove the legal concession for greyhound racing, so that's the legal protection that greyhound racing has, they're all coming out and saying, oh my God, you're wonderful, you're this and that and everything else. Well, you know, only a couple of weeks ago, you were attacking him, saying he's one of the dirty dozen of politicians in Australia. How about you have a look at your own backyard? How about you have a look at your beloved MLC? How about you have a look at the way the party operates, the way the party runs? And this is the thing with veganism. For some reason, it seems to be, it tends to attract a lot of misanthropes. So that's people that don't like the human race. You know, and here you are, you're trying to tell everyone about compassion for other sentient beings when they acknowledge and they admit that they don't like the human race. Now, that's one that baffled me. Phil Wallen is one of the lead ones about it. He, you know, there was something about someone calling Paul Watson a misanthropic, anyway, whatever it was. And Phil Wallen's turned around and said, you know, you're saying that like it's a bad thing, and just goes on about it. I mean, you know, and this is it just baffles me, because, you know, yes, there are people that do things that I don't like. There are, you know, we have to live in a non-vegan world. If you want to put up barriers and hate the vegan world, and you want to do this and you want to do that, fine. You know, you really shouldn't be putting yourself in a position to be dealing with the public. When you deal with the public, you need to accept that, hey, yes, that person may eat meat, that person may do that. I mean, oh God, I've had, you know, discussions with hunters, and this has been in the last couple of years, being a former hunter myself. You know, I know the way that they talk. I can, you know, relate to a lot of things that they do. And this is the thing, is that, you know, people turn around and say, oh, hunters are cold, heartless bastards, and they'll never do this and they'll never do that. I was a hunter many, many, many years ago myself. And yet here I am now, you know, a very staunch advocate of veganism. So, you know, we've got to stop this bullying. We've got to stop this harassment. If you've got you know, if you're cranky about something, don't deal with other people. You know, and going back, I mean, and this is the thing, this is all unscripted, unrehearsed. This is just me sitting in my car. You know, you'll get more episodes of my car, because this is the thing. For me, this is a grassroots thing. There's not going to be any glossy special effects. There's not going to be any glossy titles or anything like that. This is just me talking to the camera, to my phone at the moment, to whoever wants to listen, whoever wants to watch this. And this is going to be, you know, pure grassroots stuff. Yeah, I'll have a rant every once in a while. You know, things that I want to talk about. Bullying is another one. Animal Justice Party is something that I want to talk about a lot, so there might be a couple of staggered clips about that. I will also be taking a lot of the vegan strategists thought experiments, which he calls the gotchas that he calls thought experiments, dissecting them and saying that, hey, if this was a real world situation, how would you handle it, and giving you tips and tools, as well as talking to people that are hunters, that are you know, dyed-in-the-wool meat eaters, that are farmers and things like that, because This is the way. Yes, you know, YouTube may be a good way to educate or to preach to the choir, to preaching to, or to you know, advocating for those about you know, that don't want to hear the message. Then it's probably not a good medium. There was a link to an abstract that I included in the previous episode. I'll include that again. I'll print it out and I'll go through it about in the next one as well, because I think that is something that important, is that, you know, you may think social media is good for your activism and this and that and everything else, but, you know, it's only getting read by the converted. You know, it's not being listened by the people that you want to touch. You know, this whole machine gun approach of just spraying it out like leafleting and things like that, that's not the way to do it anymore. We're just so bombarded and inundated with images, footage, everything that's going on. We need to find a way to do the whole the Seth Godin thing, and even the Gary Vaynerchuk way of doing things. It's attraction marketing, is that you need to get people to come to you. You know, something that I've spoken about a lot. You know, we don't need to be on the street corners promoting it stuff. Personally, I think a good online presence, you know, quality information out there. None of, you know, not clickbait titles of I'm doing this, or, you know, convince someone to go vegan and all those sort of wank things, which is just really good for the person who's created the video. You know, have a look at porn. You know, how many porn sites are there? Yeah, that's not sold. Actually, it probably is sold on most street corners. You know, there's not people handing out flyers for that. Yet, you know, that is a humongous thing that, you know, people still know they need to go look for it. We need to get creative on the way that we do things. I'll also actually something that I'm planning on doing is that you know, I want to create a few webinars to get people to write blogs and to get more that way, because for me, I think that that's the easiest way, and that's going to be the most efficient way, not the most effective. It could probably even be the most effective. And actually, that's something else I want to talk about as well, is, you know, what is effective activism. So being mindful of the time, I'll end it now. It's, what are we coming up to? 22 minutes and 15 seconds, or 20 seconds now that I've gone through that. I'll end this here. There's going to be a whole series of other posts coming and things like that. So please subscribe to the channel, or go head over to veganpolice.tv. You'll see a little push crew thing come down that pops down from the top, unless I change it, it pops out from the side, about push notifications to the website. Sign up for that. Just click up for that, because that'll send a notification to your website. You don't have to give me an email address or anything like that. The browser that you use, it will just send another notification to the browser to say, hey, yeah, there's new content up here. Sign up for that. Same as the Vegan Police website. If you don't want to give me your email address, sign up for the push crew notification for that. So what that is I don't need your email address. Just click yes to that. I don't get your email address. All it does is the browser says yes when there's new information that comes out, or when you want to send a message out, send it out. So I'll do it that way. Anyway, as I said, if you like it, thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever, leave a comment, doesn't matter. Thank you for watching. As I said, my name's Cameron Blewett from Vegan Police TV, and I will talk to you next time when the next one is. I think I will be talking about the Animal Justice Party and my thoughts on moving them past this election result. So until then, thank you for watching, and bye.